Hello my friends, I am back with a new tutorial and this is another kindness rock. So I'm base coating this rock with some black matte paint. It's just apple barrel paint. And then you're going to let that dry completely. And then I didn't have any Elmer's glue, but I'm showing you, you don't have to necessarily have crackle medium to get some beautiful crackles. You just need some glue. In this case, I'm using Eileen's tacky glue because that's all I had on hand, but you can use plain old Elmer's glue. And you're going to just put that on pretty thick, but I'm leaving a little bit of spaces in there that show the black through it a little bit, just to give it more of a rustic look. So you get the glue where you want it, and then you only want it to dry till it's slightly starting to get clear on certain parts. You still want it very tacky. And then I'm taking plain old apple barrel white and I'm applying a liberal coat to it because I want it to be fairly thick so when we blow dry it, it crackles really well. And I'm using apple barrel white. I don't use it anymore that much because it does crack even without glue, but I figured for this it would work great because we want it to crack. So now after you get your coat on, you're going to start drying it, and I'm using the high and hot on my blow dryer. And you'll notice the cracks are starting to appear. So you're just going to dry this really good and then let it sit. I let it sit overnight because I wanted to make sure that glue was completely dry. And then I am going to do a resin coat. I just did UV resin. You can do a regular resin if you want. But I wanted to write a kindness quote on the top, and I knew with all that texture I wouldn't be able to write very well. So I took a Stabilo All pencil. And I love this pencil for my guides because you can write on resin and it works. It gives me a line, a guide to go by. So I'm using a Posca 1M in, I think this is considered pastel blue. It looks like teal to me. I love writing on resin because, as you see, when I make mistakes, I can just wipe it right off. I'm going to struggle with this word a little bit. You're going to see me take off my letters and put my letters back on again. But I decided to leave it like this because I wanted to show you that, we all struggle with writing. Writing is very difficult to master. And I'm left-handed, so I've had a tougher time. And as you see, my word is going uphill. That's always my problem. That's why I put a guide down there. And I still did it even with my guide. So I'm taking a baby wipe and getting off and I'm all the S's and E and D, and I'm going to start over again. And I tried to let it air dry a little. I put my line back in and back to the drawing board. So in our group, one of the groups I belong to is Santorini Stones by Shelley, and this whole month we're doing writing, different styles of writing, different fonts, using different fonts on the same quotes, things like that. And so I'm doing this video, and I'm going to be doing a lot of writing videos this month. So I took off the D again, and I'm going to redo it. And I'm going to take off the E. But once I get this in, it's going to be better and I'm going to be happy with it. But that's why I like writing with a Posca pen on top of resin, because it's so much easier to clean up your work and fix something that you don't like. Plus, I'm not having to write over all those cracks. I just wanted that kind of rustic wood peeling paint look. So now I'm going in and I'm taking my same pen and I'm doing all the downstrokes thicker. I like my downstrokes really thick. Some people like them thin where you can barely tell that it's thicker. I always do mine thicker, and that's kind of I've kind of made my own. I was following a font guide, but I kind of went off on my own at some point and wasn't really using the guide anymore. But I kind of have formed my own font, and I just kind of go back to it every time. So once you get that in good, I let this dry because I'm left-handed and I didn't want to drag my hand through it. So once you get it dry, I went in and put me a little guide again with my Stabilo All pencil. And I'm going to just lightly go in and put Simply in there. Because I want to be able to take out that black line I put in before I go over it. And I want to make sure that it looks right. So now I'm taking off that black line. And I'm going to go over Simply and just make it a little bit more bold looking. And I'm super happy with how this came out. I struggled at first with trying to figure out what quote to use, and then I went back and looked at the list that we had asked for quote ideas and what people wanted to see drawn on a rock, and Blessed came up several times. So I thought this would look great on kind of a country style rustic looking rock. So now I'm drawing in just your basic little doodle leaves. And I started out with the outline because I thought I was going to leave it just the outline. But I decided in the end that I was going to go back and fill in the leaves because I liked it better that way. But you can leave it without if you want, or you can put a different, like a curly Q or some kind of other doodle. I just like the way this one looked. And I'm using a Posca 1MR to do the leaves and the line work. So this is when I decided I'm going to go ahead and go in and fill this in. And I'm just going to fill in the whole the whole stem of leaves, and then I'm going to go back with the pastel blue and put a little line in each leaf. So you can have so much fun with this process. Use what you have in the house and just have some fun with it. You can change the colors up, crackle some different kinds of colors. You don't have to use white, or you can do the underneath a different color and the white on top, or anything. You can just experiment and have some fun. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you give it a try. It's super fun. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a great day. Bye.